for the battered but proud people of the Empire State. From the financial and entertainment epicenter of New York City to the sleeping and empty small cities and towns of upstate, which once bustled with manufacturing, mining, and farming. We all know from inspiration, history, and nature, we deserve a return to the success and growth of generations past, a birthright being squandered by corruption in Albany, and the depredations of an insecure, scheming mountebank posing as governor, who loathes both us and himself. As liberty beckoned to enslaved peoples behind the Iron Curtain via American broadcasts after World War II, we now say, believe, rise, and join us. Welcome to Radio Free New York.
Hey guys, welcome to Radio Free New York. I'm your host, Andrew Hollister, and we've got Kevin connected in here, and I think we've got Bob. Bob, do we have you too?
Let me check. Yep, there I am. Yep.
There you are. Awesome.
Cool, we have Bob.
Yep. Hey, Kev.
So we've got a full house and an empty house all at the same time because Bob's in studio, I'm in the Liberty studio, Kevin's in the Liberty closet, but we're all here together on the airwaves.
Isn't it nice? It's so cozy in a remote kind of way.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So today we're going to cover a variety of topics. And of course, today is Friday, so it is Fake News Friday. So later in the show, we're going to read off some news headlines for you guys and let you figure out whether or not it is fake news. But before we do that, yesterday, I started telling you guys a little bit about the Sanctuary County Ordinance in Monroe County, and the topic for the day just took up the whole show. In fact, there was like multiple things that I didn't get a chance to give to you guys on yesterday's topic. So we've kind of moved the rest of the Sanctuary County Ordinance to today, and then what we're going to talk about is some of the Trump pardons that happened. And typically speaking, the show I usually try to keep on New York topics, more local topics, but I think it'll be important for us to cover all of these things, and just kind of bring some of this stuff to light, some good stuff, some stuff that's maybe not so good, but all of it is definitely worth talking about. And speaking of talking about it, I want to welcome you guys to join us in the discussion, so feel free to give us a call. You can call us at 585-346-3000. Once again, that's 585-346-3000. Or you can jump on, your favorite social media platform, whether that's Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter. Search Andrew C. Hollister and connect to the live stream. And you can type your comments, your questions, contributions, whatever you want in the chat there, and we'll see it. And I see John just sent us a message saying, "Good afternoon. Welcome to the show, John." So let's roll right into the sanctuary policy and kind of what it does. We'll talk about it a little bit. You may have seen me on TV a couple days ago talking about this, but they didn't really include any of the details. So first and foremost, this is put together by GOA New York, this specific policy that's being proposed in Monroe County. For those of you who don't know who GOA is, it's Gun Owners of America. They have some local chapters. There are a few other ordinances floating around the state. So I just want to make sure that that's upfront and clear. The one we're talking about today is specifically the GOA one. But I know 2A NYS has one floating around in a few counties. And then kind of the cool thing about this sanctuary county movement is that there are a lot of counties that have just kind of made their own, and they're doing it extremely grassroots, just individuals who woke up one day and said, you know what, I think this is really important, I want to do this, and they went ahead and, pushed it through anyways, put it together themselves, looked for some examples, and they're doing it totally grassroots, independent of any organization. So kudos to those people who are taking that extra initiative to fight for what they believe in, because we need a lot more of that. So good job to those people. Keep it up. Feel free to reach out to me here at the show, or separately, on Facebook. If you need any help, I can definitely put you in touch with people who are knowledgeable about it and can help you out with that. So what is a sanctuary county ordinance? What was this whole idea, was the premise, and kind of what does it cover? So, the idea of the sanctuary county ordinance is tied to home rule a little bit. And although it doesn't mention home rule, the New York State Constitution does mention home rule. And I'm hoping that people take this as a first step to further home rule in New York State. So let me first explain what home rule is, just to make sure we're all on the same page here. Home rule is the idea that counties can say, "Hey, Albany, your mandates have no power here. They don't apply here." And that's really important, especially for unfunded mandates, specifically from Albany, but also bad legislation like the SAFE Act and other gun control bills that have given Americans that live in New York State unequal access to their rights. So the sanctuary county ordinances follow kind of a similar idea. This idea that the county says, you know what, we don't believe that this law represents our people. We don't believe that Albany should have passed this. We think it's unconstitutional. It's broad sweeping, too much central control. Our county is not going to participate in these laws. And in some cases, it even says that the county won't just not participate, but the county won't fund it either. So this is definitely like an important step forward. I hope that counties, when they look at this, consider adding that to their charter, making it so that they can't add gun control and gun registration as budget line items or include it at all in their budget. If you include that in the county charter, then it won't really matter who's in charge, whether it's Democrats, Republicans, Greens, Libertarians, whomever. It won't be allowed unless, of course, they go and change the charter again. So that's kind of the premise. And one of the things I thought was really interesting is that Governor Cuomo's office specifically has already started responding to some of these and responding in a kind of like a threatening way. So I wonder if this is either just it's either making them really, really mad or they're worried about it. I'm not sure which one. I'll let you guys kind of make that observation yourselves. But in response, a spokesperson from Cuomo's office came out and basically said any elected officials who adopt these sanctuary county ordinances need to resign immediately. And
Yeah, that's a
so,
threat. Yeah, I would say that's a
yeah,
threat. Yep.
yeah. So that to me felt like wow, they feel threatened, and they were like, the response was, and I'm paraphrasing this a little bit and summarizing it for you guys, but they essentially said the SAFE Act has been through court multiple times. It's been found constitutional, and the election has spoken for itself because Cuomo was reelected, which means the people of New York State want this SAFE Act. And
No,
any elective, yeah, no,
no,
we
no,
definitely don't.
and it has not been found constitutional.
Yeah,
There have been reviews of it that have they haven't ruled on its constitutionality. They just have failed to strike down parts of it.
exactly.
And in point of fact, there was an unconstitutional finding with regard to the round number of rounds limit and the mag limit in Niagara County, I think it was.
Yeah, I think that was the Western New York circuit or something like that. So, which brings up questions because people wonder like, is the mag limit still enforceable in other parts of the state or is it like statewide? Because originally Cuomo was like, oh, we'll have to fix that, and then like the week later he kind of like dialed back on that and
Yeah,
kind
because he
of
doesn't want an adverse ruling.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
absolutely. So
But
so
Andrew, I
Cuomo's
got
office,
questions
they
about this though.
oh,
I
go
mean,
ahead.
like I'd want to know, like, okay, have people use this, like the concept of a sanctuary county in other places, and is it legal? Does that hold up in court? Have we seen anything like that before? I mean, I love
So
the idea. Just like what's going to happen when it passes and Governor Cuomo decides to initiate a conflict about this.
yeah, no, absolutely, and that's a really good question, right? So originally, I was thinking that these sanctuary county ordinances would kind of be a bunch of fluff, if you will, and that's because we passed resolutions for the SAFE Act, back in 2013, and nothing happened. But these ordinances are a little bit different, and we're going to take a break, but when we come back, I'm going to actually go through the things in the ordinances and tell you about what's different about it and what change I think that may or may not enact. So we'll talk about that and more when we come back on Radio Free New York.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
If you're looking to market and grow your business, make new business connections, and give back to the community in a meaningful way, consider joining the Greece Regional Chamber of Commerce. We're the largest suburban chamber in Monroe County, and we offer networking, education, marketing, insurance, and advocacy. You do not need to live or work in Greece to join. Our members come from throughout the region. In short, we're better together, and together, we're moving business forward. Visit greecechamber.org or call 585-227-7272 to join today.
Tom Walls started in 1955. Since then, America has been through wars, natural disasters, and economic highs and lows. Rochester companies have had their ups and downs, but one constant, Tom Walls. Tom Walls has stood the test of time. A Wahlburger and a frosted mug of root beer on a sunny afternoon brings us closer to our past and reminds us of what is good. My name is Riley. I am Tom Walls.
Share the good times. Tom Walls.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to Simple Tech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that Simple Tech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at Simple Tech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at Simple Tech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
You're listening to Radio Free New York.
Once again, we go back to Andrew in his attic studio and Kevin Wilson somewhere in the Arctic Circle.
Yeah, Kevin in the Arctic. That's awesome. Actually, Kevin does have a lot of blues in there, so he could be in the
You never
Arctic.
know.
So welcome to Radio Free New York. I'm your host, Andrew Hollister, and we're talking about the Monroe County Sanctuary Ordinance, specifically for the Second Amendment. Cuomo's office has responded to this. The sheriff in Livingston County responded to it in opposition, basically, saying that he doesn't want the ability to pick and choose which laws to enforce, which laws not to enforce. My opinion on that is that the sheriff should absolutely be not enforcing unconstitutional laws. And I've prompted this question. I haven't spoken with that sheriff specifically, but I've spoken with other law enforcement officers who have given me that same type of answer. And, I asked them this question, and I would encourage you to ask something similar. Make the question your own, however you want it to be. But I say, okay, so this is where we are today, but what happens tomorrow? What happens if the state legislature decides to pass a law that says you are going to go ahead and arrest all people who look a certain way. Are you going to enforce that law? Are you going to go out, round up those people, and arrest them based on their look because that's the new law? And they go, no, of course not. I would never do that. So you're choosing there what you believe is or isn't right and what law there you will or will not enforce based on your morals and maybe perception of constitutionality, but you won't with this law. And they usually don't have an answer for that. At that point, it's kind of the aha moment, or they back out of the conversation. But we need to really talk with our law enforcement officers and talk about the idea that legality does not equate to morality, and they were elected by the people to represent them. You know, the sheriff is elected very close to the people, whereas the people in Albany making the laws, their districts, some are smaller than the county, some are much larger than the county. Certainly the governorship expands entirely statewide. So the sheriff is much closer to the people and should be making these decisions to stand up for what the right thing is and abide by their constitutional oath.
I think it's a matter of practicality and circumstances to some extent. I remember, I think it was a couple of election cycles back, and I can never remember which county Chris Moss was the sheriff of, whether it was Chemung or whether it was Steuben. I think it was Chemung. Remember, he stood up to Cuomo, and Cuomo threatened to remove him, but didn't want that to become an election issue, so it kind of stalemated out. I think right now Andrew Cuomo has watched what's happened in Virginia and has taken a lesson from that. He does not want a repeat of that in New York State. So he's going to take a hard line right now because he's kidded himself into thinking that he's got a big mandate on this SAFE Act issue when in fact he does not, at least outside of New York City.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And they went as far to try to say, oh, like 75% of New Yorkers support the SAFE Act. And I'm like, 75% of New Yorkers don't even know what the SAFE Act is. So, it's pretty hard to, make those type of claims. So let me go through the list of some of the highlights in this ordinance that I think are just worth you guys hearing about, knowing about. We can discuss it further if you guys want, but I just want to make sure to read off these, where are these 9 points in here that are included.
By the way, Chris Moss was Chemung County. I just looked it up.
Chemung County, there you go. Yep. And I will actually, before I read this, mention that a few of the sheriffs have come out and said they want to support this, but the governor has an ability to remove sheriffs from office, and they're worried that's what Cuomo will do if they support it. I don't have background on that or information on that, but I've heard it now from, I think, 4 different sheriffs. So there may be some legal standing there. I'm not familiar with it. I will try to get back to you guys on that. All right, so what's in this ordinance here? Number 1, any state tax, levy, fee, or stamp imposed on firearms, firearm accessories, or ammunition not common to all other goods and services on the purchase or ownership of these items by citizens other than pursuant to federal law. These are things, by the way, that the ordinance is saying will not be enforced in the county. So basically no special taxes, levies, fees, or stamps on firearm accessories or firearms. Any state registration or tracking of firearms, firearm accessories, or ammunition other than pursuant to federal law. So this is saying the county won't participate in any state registration. I know some of you are thinking, hey, wait a bit, what about the pistol permit process? They do have an exemption for the pistol permit process, because if they didn't, chances are Monroe County, if they adopted this, would no longer be able to put pistols on people's pistol permits. And they're kind of viewing this as 2 separate battles, if you will. Next one is any state registration or tracking of, actually 3 looks like a duplicate. So we're going to move on to 4. Any registration and background check requirements on firearms, firearm accessories, or ammunition for citizens other than checks made pursuant to federal law. So no special background checks on ammunition, no new background checks in New York State outside of the NICS system. There exists. None of that. Number 5, any state act forbidding the possession, ownership, or use or transfer of any type of firearm, firearm accessory, or ammunition by citizens of the legal age of 18 and over, other than pursuant to federal law. So this piece here is what I believe takes care of the SAFE Act part, because the SAFE Act forbids ownership of certain weapons based on features. So this is the piece here that says in Monroe County and other counties that they adopt this in, they would not acknowledge the SAFE Act restrictions. Number 6, any act ordering the confiscation of firearms, firearm accessories, or ammunition from citizens. Seems pretty straightforward. Don't take our guns. Number 7, any prohibition, regulation, and or use restriction related to the ownership or the constitutional, how they word this is a little difficult. Basically, if you're lawfully using a firearm, there should be no restriction on it. Number 8, a civil offense against the ordinance is a Class A violation with a maximum fine of $2,000 for an individual and $4,000 for a corporation. So as I'm reading this, I understand that if somebody tries to enforce these laws, there would actually be civil penalties applied to them. I don't know how that works for elected officials that would try to create new laws that oppose this. I've got some questions about this, and maybe somebody can call in who knows and answer it.
Wait a minute. They would get civil. They would like be sued in civil court if they enforce these. What? That makes no sense.
That's how I'm reading it.
I'm not sure that's going to work.
Yeah, I don't know either, but that's how this is being proposed. So this is, I believe, as I'm reading this, and somebody can correct me if they think it's different. I actually posted the link to it in the comments. That essentially, if you tried to enforce any of these laws, they're essentially being said they will not be enforced in Monroe County. You could be civilly liable for trying to enforce them.
No, that's
Once
a
again,
non-starter. Yeah. I don't know who drafted that, but
I'm not sure. Yep, couldn't say. Number 9, any prohibition, regulation, and or use restriction limiting hand grips, stocks, flash suppressors, bayonet mounts, magazine capacity, clip capacity, internal capacity, or types of ammunition available for sale, possession, or use by citizens. So this is kind of like a reinforcement, I think, of we won't abide with the SAFE Act. So those are the 9 points there in the sanctuary ordinance. I do have it posted in the comments. It's 4 pages long. There's some legal language in there. That's what was proposed to the Monroe County Legislature about 2 weeks ago now. So the way the process moves forward is the legislature's got to look at it, see if they're willing to adopt it. It will probably go through a committee. They might make changes to this. They might say, hey, you know what, the civil thing, this is not going to fly, and they might take it out. They might look at other parts of it and say, yep, this isn't going to fly at all, take it out, modify it. They might take none of it. They might say, nope, we're not going to pass that. But that's why you guys, if you guys look at this and you want to speak to the county legislature in favor of this or something similar, I would definitely recommend you guys show up March 10th, 6 p.m. at the Monroe County building, which is 39 West Main Street. It'll be on the 4th floor, and that's where people are going to be rallying together in support for saying, hey, Albany, we're not going to listen to these laws that you keep pushing on us. And by extension, hey, New York City, we're not going to listen to these laws that you keep pushing on us. We are our own people. We don't believe these laws are constitutional, and we're not going to enforce them. We're not going to spend money on them. We are going to be what is being called a sanctuary county for Second Amendment rights. So once again, that's March 10th, 6 p.m., 39 West Main Street, 4th floor. I'm going to be there. I know a bunch of other people are going to be there. I hope you guys join us there and in support of the Second Amendment. So we are going to take our break. When we come back, we're going to discuss the list of people who Trump pardoned. I know Kevin's got some thoughts. I think Bob has some thoughts. So we're going to talk about that when we come back on Radio Free New York.
Now, more than twice the power.
WYSL.
More powerful FM 92.1, FM 95.5 West, and 1040 AM WYSL Avon Rochester.
Here's the latest forecast from the News 10 NBC Weather Center for tonight. We'll have clear skies out there, a bit breezy, still a bit chilly, temps in the mid-20s. On Saturday, a good-looking day. We should have a fair amount of sunshine. Temperatures in the 30s to near 40 degrees. We'll have clear skies Saturday night, again in the 20s, and Sunday looks wonderful with some sunshine. Temperatures well up into the 40s. I'm Rich Cadelia on WYSL.
WYSL.
And on the 8th day, God looked down on his planned paradise and said, I need a caretaker. So God made a farmer. God said, I need somebody willing to get up before dawn, milk cows, work all day in the fields, milk cows again, eat supper, then go to town and stay past midnight at a meeting of the school board. So God made a farmer. God said, I need somebody willing to sit up all night with a newborn colt and watch it die, then dry his eyes and say, maybe next year. I need somebody who can shape an axe handle from a persimmon sprout, shoe a horse with a hunk of car tire, who can make harness out of hay, wire, feed sacks, and shoe scraps, who planting time and harvest season will finish his 40-hour week by Tuesday noon, and then pain in from tractor back, put in another 72 hours. So God made a farmer. God said, I need somebody strong enough to clear trees and heave bales, yet gentle enough to yean lambs and wean pigs and tend to pink-combed pullets, who will stop his mower for an hour to splint the broken leg of a meadowlark. So God made a farmer. It had to be somebody who'd plow deep and straight and not cut corners. Somebody to seed, weed, feed, breed, and rake and disc and plow and plant and tie the fleece and strain the milk. Somebody who'd bale a family together with the soft, strong bonds of sharing. Who would laugh and then sigh and then reply with smiling eyes when his son says that he wants to spend his life doing what Dad does. So God made a farmer.
The proceeding courtesy of Genesee Valley Ford in Avon.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
Your business is the most valuable asset you own, and you are the linchpin that holds the family business together. Will the next generation be ready? Business value can be lost when the business passes to the next owner. I'm Alan Ginsberg of the A.M. Ginsberg Advisory Group, and I've seen the results of poor planning, family disputes, and a shortage of capital when it comes time for a business transition. Don't let these barriers to success happen to you. Whether you sell your business to outsiders, key employees, or your family takes over, the result is the same. Your business is your family's future. Let me show you how to sell or transfer your business successfully. Call me, Alan Ginsberg, at 585-377-4720 to arrange a no-cost, no-obligation initial visit. Because when life happens, we've planned for it.
Securities offered through Securities America, Inc., member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services offered through Securities America Advisors, Inc., A.M. Ginsberg Advisory Group, and Securities America Companies are separate entities.
The Rochester Lancers are home Friday, February 21st and Saturday, February 22nd. Remember, it's a party, not a game. Get your tickets at ourlancers.com. Bring your team, bring your group, ourlancers.com.
Radio Free New York.
All right, welcome back to Radio Free New York. I'm your host, Andrew Hollister. I've got Bob and Kevin here with me as well. And it sounds like we've got a caller on the line.
Yes, indeed. We have Eric from Rochester on the line for Radio Free New York. Hey, Eric.
Hello. I had a question. You raised up. You were going over some of the points in the sanctuary proposal, and the question was raised whether the civil liability point could possibly have any effect. And it does seem to me, from what I know of law, that public officials are exempt from civil liability for the performance of their duties. So that would be a problem. So that raises the question: is there a severability clause somewhere in there to save other portions of it?
That's actually a really good question. So it's 4 pages long, and I don't want to read the whole thing on air. Yes, there is. Section 5 is has a servability clause. So if any provision of this act or the application of such provision to any person, circumstances declared invalid for any reason, such declaration shall not affect the validity of the remaining portions of this act.
Good. Okay, that's an important point.
Awesome.
So
no, thank you for calling in. That's a really good point, and I bet you weren't the only person wondering about that. So thank you very much for the call.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, so we are going to move on now to talk about the pardons.
Wait. No, I got one more thing. I told you. I was telling you I want to tell you this real
Go ahead,
quick.
Kevin.
Yeah. So I did find the section of the New York State Constitution that talks about the removal of sheriffs. The New York State Constitution says the governor may remove any elective sheriff, county clerk, district attorney, or registrar within the term for which he or she shall have been elected, but before so doing, the governor must give to such officer a copy of the charges against him or her and an opportunity of being heard in his or her defense. So, yes, the governor can remove an elected sheriff, apparently, according to the New York State Constitution. They just have to have some sort of process in which charges are presented and the sheriff can defend him or herself.
And Kevin, I missed the one piece there. Does it have to be criminal charges? Does it say criminal charges, or it just
doesn't
says
say criminal?
charges?
Just says that. Yeah, it just says that they can remove them.
Huh.
The governor may remove any elected sheriff. Yeah, that's all it says.
Just maybe make something up. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
there
yeah. That just we're removing you. We're giving you these reasons for doing it. So I guess it doesn't have to be criminal. It could be competence, or it could be whatever. And the governor can make up a reason and remove them. Now I don't know who. I couldn't find in the Constitution who judges this process as valid or not. If it's the governor who is able to judge whether or not their defense of their actions are valid, which might not seem super fair for the governor to remove elected officials. So if anyone knows the answer to that, but make a comment in the live stream or give us a call. And yeah, we'd be happy to talk about it. But I did find that, so it looks like the governor does have this power in some sort of way, which is maybe what's spooking a few of the sheriffs. But to me, I'm like, well, maybe it's worth it. But I'm not the one who's in the hot seat, so I guess I don't have to make that decision.
Yeah, I think that there'd be some political fallout, though, unless there was a really good reason for removing the sheriff, other than enacting a sanctuary provision, which is echoed at many other counties throughout the state. I think that's a fight that even Andy would have to think about long and hard before wading into that, because there could be some real political liability there. We have Gary from Greece on the line. Hey, Gary.
Hey, how's it going? I just wanted to clarify a couple things for you. Excuse me. I was one of the people that presented this paperwork to the county a couple weeks ago.
Oh, awesome. Sure, great.
And it's an outline that was put together by the national GOA lawyers for us, and it's meant to introduce them to the topic, and then we've got to sit down with them in the next week or so and put together the actual language that they're going to vote on. If you look at this and you compare it to some of the ones that were used by the counties in Virginia, you'll find they're very similar because they were using the same outline as we are. But it is, not written in stone, so to speak.
Right, got it. So, what was your take on the legislators that you spoke with about this?
They're all behind it. Now, I passed out enough copies for both sides, Democrats and Republicans, to have all the information to review. I don't know if we're going to get any Democrats to get on board with it, but basically it was presented as that they have sworn an oath to uphold the Constitution in doing their duties. And the Constitution clearly says that you can't infringe on the right to keep and bear arms, and that has been upheld in the Supreme Court with the Heller and McDonald decisions. So they're going to have to make a choice whether they're going to, uphold that oath that they swore to. And the Republicans seem to all be on board with it. So we'll see where everybody else stands in the next few weeks. But I appreciate you covering this on the show and publicizing it, and I encourage people that are interested in it to come down and next month, I think it's the 10th of March, for the meeting and show their support. Because the only way we're going to change this, it looks like now, is to get everybody on board. If we can get 45 or 50 counties eventually to join on to this, then that'll be a level of protection against Andrew Cuomo just wholesale, firing people. Because I don't think they want that kind of publicity either.
No, that's what I was saying earlier before we got you on the air there, Gary, that there is while Cuomo could remove, for example, Sheriff Doherty in Livingston County, if he did the sanctuary thing, there would be some political cost involved.
Oh, I think there will be plenty of costs, and especially as more and more people adopt this, it's going to give courage to those. Now, we've got one sheriff, Carpinelli, up in Lewis County that we spoke to a couple weeks ago up there, and he's way behind it. I mean, he's, gave a very inspiring speech to their county executives. So, if you get a few people like that can kind of bring the rest of them along, it's going to build on itself, I hope. If you look at what happened in Virginia, that's a great model because they had the advantage of having the paperwork already made up from what we had started. So when they found out that this stuff was coming at them, they got a jump on it, and they've got now 91 out of their 95 counties are signed on to this, plus other localities. And it was, they still passed some of the laws down there, but they did, take a second look at their SAFE Act law, which was going to outlaw the semi-automatic black rifles, and they stopped that in committee. So apparently they did take notice of 42,000 armed citizens.
Well, yeah, and also there were 4 Democrat lawmakers in Virginia who helped defeat the SAFE Act provisions.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm not writing off our Democrats either. Maybe they'll honor their oath of office. They all took one.
Yeah,
all right, Gary.
No, absolutely.
Hey, appreciate the call. Thanks very much for everything that you're doing, and feel free to call in anytime and give us updates.
All right. Well, I just wanted to clear that up, that this wasn't set in stone and that we're going to take this as an outline and work with it.
Right. It's a draft kind of thing. Appreciate it, Gary. Thanks very much.
Yeah. Thank you, Gary.
So Angela actually commented in on Facebook, and we're talking about how the governor can remove a sheriff. Angela wants to know, can we remove the governor? Yes, absolutely. We just have to get people to vote. That's a big one. I don't know if there are any other provisions or ways. I don't think we have recall elections here in New York.
Yeah, I was going to ask if we have that. I don't think we do.
Yeah, I don't believe that we do. That's pretty much it. Short of them resigning, which we have had in the past, I don't know that there's any other way besides the ballot box in New York to remove a governor. So, all right. So what I do want to do is we're gonna hit this pardon topic, I hope, in the next segment. We'll see. We're gonna take a brief break here on Radio Free New York. When we come back, we're gonna try to combine the two topics, get some fake news in here, and some pardons as well. So, all right, guys, we'll be back in a moment on Radio Free New York.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to SimpleTech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that SimpleTech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at SimpleTech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at SimpleTech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
Aircraft Environmental Systems proudly supports Radio Free New York. Rochester-based leaders in climate simulation chambers for America's R&D laboratories. We're experts in troubleshooting, calibrations, custom designs, and consulting for more than 40 years. Industry pioneers, we created the first ever fleet of temperature, humidity, and altitude test chambers available to rent coast to coast. Trained and trusted by environmental chamber manufacturers, we are ACES. Find us at acesinc.com.
Human trafficking is when someone is being forced, tricked, or coerced to engage in a sex trade or forced labor. If you're a kid and forced to sell sex, drugs, or work against your will, that's trafficking. You're not a criminal, and there is help available. Call the National Human Trafficking Hotline at 888-373-7888 or text Be Free. Sponsored by the Livingston County Safe Harbors Human Trafficking Task Force.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at SimpleTech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, SimpleTech Innovation should be your first call. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
Radio Free New York.
Fake News Friday. But first...
Oh, do we lose you? Here we are. All right. I'm Andrew. I'm your host, Radio Free New York. We've got Kevin here, too. It is Fake News Friday, and we're going to roll out with the very first bit of fake news, which is that we're going to be talking about Trump pardons today.
Yeah, that was fake news, guys.
Yep. I checked with Kevin over the break. We're not going to have enough time to talk about it. There's too much to talk about. So we're going to roll that into either Monday or Tuesday's show. That way you guys get to be a part of the discussion. You can call in if you want, bring in the comments, and we can cover things thoroughly. With that being said, Aaron did make a comment on Facebook that I want to just bring to light before we roll into fake news. Because Aaron asked, can we talk about how a gun and ammo tax plays right into Bloomberg's plan for disarming poor urban areas while not affecting the rich white suburbs? And he goes on to say how that these gun laws are at best unintendedly racist, but more likely purposefully racist. And Aaron, that's a great point. I think we could actually do probably a full segment, if not half a show on that, and measuring the impact of how these taxes and special fees absolutely puts your right to defend yourself out of reach for minority groups and poor people constantly. So absolutely, I'm with you on that. We'll definitely talk about it.
No, for sure. And the way Michael Bloomberg has approached gun control in New York City specifically was really to focus on gun control in minority neighborhoods too. So it was almost explicitly an effort to disarm people of color in New York City. And this is the guy that Democrats may end up electing as their nominee. So we'll see.
Yeah, yeah. Wasn't stop and frisk his policy too? Was that him?
It was
Yeah, no, that was for sure him.
Well, no, it was started by Giuliani, and then it was ramped up tremendously by Bloomberg.
There you go.
Yeah, and Bloomberg's getting roasted for it right now. Apparently he got roasted at the debate pretty bad, but I didn't watch the whole thing. I just saw the memes afterwards. So
Yeah, it's the best place to get your news, Kevin, from memes.
yeah, no, that's the only place where I get my news, and that's why I trust everything I see on Facebook.
There you go. Awesome. All right. Speaking of trusting everything you see on Facebook, who's got some
Bad idea.
news headlines for us to go through for Fake News Friday?
Who wants to go first?
All right, so actually, I'll go with something I saw on Facebook, and I wasn't sure if it was true or not. And actually, I saw it first posted on the WYSL Facebook page, and it was that Pete Buttigieg's father is a communist who was like a proud disciple of Marxist ideology and spread that message around throughout his professional life. Fake news or real news?
I'm saying it's real.
I'm not sure. So say it again. Is Buttigieg's father?
Yeah, communist.
Yeah, he's a communist. Allegedly.
I'm not gonna say it's not believable. I guess I could believe that. Sure.
Well, that's spoken like a real politician.
There you go. Yeah. Here's my on the fence pandering to both of you.
I'm not going to say it's not on the alternate Thursdays. The barometric pressure is over 1,100 millibars.
Andrew, you've been in this too long now.
I know. I was just hanging out with too many people.
Yeah, so looking it up, and this is even on Snopes too, it is in fact true that his Pete Buttigieg's father was a professor who was, he did a lot of study of the history of Karl Marx and kind of communist ideology, but it's pretty clear from his writing and from his statements that he was a believer in, and his name was Joseph Buttigieg, if you want to look him up. He was a professor of English at University of Notre Dame from 1980 to 2017, and definitely a Marxist.
He loves himself some commies. No question. Yep.
There you go.
All
right.
I don't know what that means
anything?
for Pete, but
You're calling on me, Professor?
Yeah. Do you have any?
I got one. Let's see here. Wait a minute. It got away from me here for just a quick second. Oh, yes. Tulsi Gabbard has received donations to her 2020 campaign from supporters of Russian President Vladimir Putin, including a Russian studies professor and an employee of the Russian government-funded broadcaster RT. That's Russia Today. Is that fake or is that the real deal?
So could you summarize it for me, Alex? That's so she received it. So it's saying that she received campaign contributions from
Putin?
just Russians,
Yeah,
or
Putin
from Putin himself.
Right, for her 2020 presidential campaign. Has she been financially supported by the Ruskies?
Yeah.
That feels fake to me, but I also wouldn't put it past Putin to just start donating to campaigns to cause more chaos in the U.S.
No. That sounds like Hillary Clinton started that fake news.
Yeah, I'm kind of feeling that way.
Accusing Tulsi of being a Russian bot.
Well, actually, let's see. She said this earlier this week. There was a Daily Beast report that her campaign was being backed by prominent Russian sympathizers, easy to say, fake news. And so she was talking with ABC's George Stephanopoulos on This Week, and the Hawaii congresswoman said, it's unfortunate you're citing that article, George, because it's a whole lot of fake news.
There you go. Yep. And actually, Richard on Facebook just piped up and said it's fake news. So there you go. And you guys feel free too if you're on the live stream. Yeah, definitely participate. We're happy to have your
Andrew, we got to find a way to set up polls in this, and we can poll our listeners as we're doing it whether or not it's real or fake news.
There you go. Yeah, have a cool little dial meter, whether it goes fake or true. Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, you got another one, Kevin?
You're a computer expert. You know this. Well, you don't got one, Andrew? Come on.
I used mine in the
Bob
beginning.
And I carry it.
No, I didn't do my homework, guys.
Oh man.
Oh, that's it. You get detention.
Yep.
Wow. All right, so I do have another one.
Not prepared for class. What's that?
No.
Yeah, no, it's a shame.
not.
Andrew, wow. Real disappointed in you, sir.
You don't get a pizza party in your office this week.
Oh man, no pizza party, huh?
All right, so I do have another one. Another one that I saw on a Facebook meme as well. I saw some photos of the back of Lysol containers, and on that Lysol container where it says what type of bacteria and viruses that kills, it includes the coronavirus. Is it true that Lysol containers talk about how they can kill the coronavirus before it even came out?
Before it came out? Wow.
Before it came out.
Yeah, that strains credulity, I'm thinking.
So I'll tell you where I'm thinking on this, and then we'll see if I'm right. That feels to me, if it's before coronavirus came out, that somebody was probably insinuating that they believe that coronavirus was developed purposely by somebody and Lysol knew about it. Like
that is
that kind
absolutely what this meme was insinuating.
Oh, there you go. Perfect. All right, I'm calling fake news then.
So you don't think it was there?
No, I don't think so.
All right, Bob, what do you think?
I'm calling it fake.
Fake. All right. Well, here's the thing. It was there. It is there.
Oh no!
But it's not as conspiratorial as you think, though. Human coronavirus is kind of a wide range of a whole bunch of different viruses that are kind of related to common cold. And the one that's happening, in China and people worried about spreading all over the world, that is a specific type of coronavirus that happens to be very deadly. So it's supposed to kill viruses in that category of virus, but they wouldn't have known about what they call it, the COVID-19 virus by the time they were printing these labels.
Oh, okay. So it just says
containers.
can kill coronavirus, and but not this specific strain.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Coronavirus is a big category apparently of a bunch of different viruses that have been around for a while and are related to common cold. It wasn't like Lysol was preparing to market their products by releasing the disease in China or something. That's not a great strategy, first of all, and second of all, it's just not true. It's conspiratorial, and that's what a lot of these memes are implying.
Yeah. So my question is, was Jenny Cream Ale marketing this as well, prevents coronavirus on the back of their beer, or is that no, okay, bad joke. All right, we'll move on. Bob, you got another one, or
stop picking on my favorite beer? I don't understand what the.
I don't know. Kevin likes them a lot too.
Well, what's your issue with Jenny Cream Ale? It's just
they're local. I'm just
exactly.
That's the only one. I don't drink beer, so I don't know who I'm supposed to pick on. How about that?
And then there's all this this folklore about how it makes people have diarrhea. I've never had that experience with Jenny Cream Ale.
Nope.
Huh? No, I haven't heard that one. That's a new one for me.
That's fake news.
There you go.
I'm putting that out there.
News. Oh, cool. All right. Anybody got any more, or are we?
Well, we're out of time, actually, it's a good thing because I didn't understand, ladies and gentlemen, until the very last minute today that my presence was going to be required on this show. So I've been frantically researching while I help co-host the program here.
There you go.
Always be prepared, Bob.
We always appreciate you here, Bob, and we always want you here as much as you can be.
Well, at least two of us were prepared, right, Kevin?
That's right.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us here on Radio Free New York. We will definitely cover Trump pardons next week, either Monday or Tuesday. Catch you guys same time, same place.
It's here, the biggest